There's a misconception that we don't exist, that somehow our ability to excel at the highest level of our industry is limited, that overcoming barriers as a woman of color would be insurmountable. But what would happen if we decided to venture out on our own despite everything we're up against? I'll tell you. Welcome to the Black Girls Consult 2 podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Angelina Davis, a healthcare consultant, consulting coach, high performance fanatic, wife, and proud girl mom. I help transform female professionals into thriving solo consultants. And just like you, I'm wearing all the hats and doing all the things. So this podcast is to empower the busy female professionals to move past fear to start and grow a successful consulting business, despite the obstacles you may encounter. We'll dive deep into consulting practice, business strategy, mindset, and more. So grab your cup of coffee or tea if that's your thing, and let's get started. Hello there. Welcome to the Black Girls Consult 2 podcast. I am your host, Dr. Angelina Davis, and I am so glad you are joining me for hopefully yet another episode of the Black Girls Consult 2 podcast. We have been on this whole kick with social media and social selling this month and the early part of the year. And I want to continue this conversation today by really talking about how we can begin to elevate the quality of our social media content, because this is especially important in the consulting industry, because thought leadership and expertise kind of leads the way when it comes to attracting clients and really growing your business overall. And so that means that the content that we're putting out, even in the online space, needs to be of a higher quality and provide a higher level of value. So I hope this conversation will be helpful in just giving you a few ideas that may help you elevate your content quality and really show up a little bit differently when you are on social media, so that it can work to your benefit when it comes to attracting the clients that you want to serve and winning the business that you desire. So one of the reasons why I thought this would be a good conversation is because I was looking through some information online. I was actually on, I believe it was HubSpot.com, and it talked about the importance of having, consistent, high quality and engaging content to really impact your audience's decision making. And what they found is that it was this high quality content that impacted decision making more than any other technique. And I thought this was interesting because oftentimes when we're thinking about developing content for social media and the whole concept of social selling, we often resort back to focusing heavily on what an algorithm prefers, whether that is an algorithm that is driving content sharing on Instagram or LinkedIn or YouTube. We are constantly trying to think about how we can create social media so that it serves the purpose to get greater reach and to get more followers and to get more engagement. But sometimes by doing that, we are not necessarily creating the highest quality of content. And by not creating higher quality content, we may have a certain level of engagement that we're able to reach, but is that really translating into true decision-making or things that will influence decision-making in the long run? And if our goal is to really think about selling our consulting services and finding more clients and helping people at a higher level, then that means that we have to make sure that we elevate the quality of our content so that it matches the level and the quality of the services that we offer. And one thing that we will have to do is not get caught up in the algorithm game. And we have to really think about how we are positioning ourselves and how we are really developing our overall content strategy. Now, I wanted to talk just very briefly about 3 ways that I have found to be helpful personally when trying to elevate the quality of my content. But then also, I think a lot of this you will find to be true for the vast majority of cases where you are looking at individuals that have high quality accounts. These are people that we tend to think of as more so thought leaders and experts in the industry. And that's where we want to position ourselves. That's where we want to frame our knowledge and frame our services. And so I think that by really tackling these three areas, it's going to make it easier for you to create the type of content that's going to sell high ticket services. And that typically is our goal. So one of the first things that we want to do in order to create higher quality content is that first we must consume high quality content ourselves. And so I always recommend that clients think about their overall social media consumption and consume that content from those accounts where the quality of the content is high. And then also think about consuming content from various industries. When we upgrade the quality of the content that we're actually consuming, this helps us to figure out what higher quality content actually is, and then also what content resonates on various platforms. When we see that content in action and we're looking at the levels of engagement, the questions that are being answered, and how far this content is reaching, then we have an idea as to what we need to create for our own personal platform and our own personal strategies and purpose. You do not have to dance and point and, kind of follow all of these trends in order for your content to be well received. I mean, if that's your thing, then that's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong if you want to do that. But if it is not something that makes you comfortable and not something that you can use to elevate the quality of your content, then there's no reason for you to start doing that just for you to get more reach. People do like and appreciate other types of content. And I think that when you are consuming other high quality accounts, it makes it easier for you to understand what is working, what is resonating that may be similar to what you aspire to. So my point is that it's okay to go into more depth online without sounding boring, without losing your audience, without really causing yourself to lose members of your community. This actually helps you to attract more aligned prospects. When you go the route of creating quality that is going to be of more interest to those individuals that would pursue your services, then that is going to be interesting to them. That depth is okay. Yes, something that you do want to provide. And what I found is that I actually get some of the best inspiration from thought leaders in other industries. So it's not a matter of just sticking to your industry and your area of expertise and what you find to be helpful. Although the topics may be vastly different, it can actually help you shape and to begin to mold your messaging in a new way. And the way that you're able to shape your messaging, because it's something that's new and fresh and stands out in your industry because it is not commonly seen, it's something that's seen as being more refreshing. People are going to be more attracted to that. They're going to resonate with that. And for you, it will help to spark a certain level of creativity because you won't be able to just automatically copy what someone did because they're in a completely different industry, typically talking about something that's completely unrelated to your topic or subject matter. But what I found is that this allows me to gain so much insight and just inspiration in terms of how they are able to develop the content that they create. And so I know for me, I find a lot of inspiration from following other creatives. And so these are typically, brilliant major players in their own industry and in their own right. And although they may focus on something like graphic design or blogging or maybe even course creation, the way that they're able to actually present the complex ideas that they discuss and that they talk about and break this complexity down into simple, understandable concepts that I enjoy, not being part of that industry, not being knowledgeable to the same level, it truly helps me to be more creative and think about how I can share more information and more content in a manner that allows everyone to truly understand it, resonate with it, and appreciate it in the long run. And so my content has improved over time through that process. And I think that you'll find the same thing. If you are able to consume higher quality accounts and content from higher quality accounts and from various industries, it will truly open your eye to what the possibilities are that lie ahead for you in terms of your ability to create better content. Are you a female solo consultant or expert in your field who desires to build and grow a highly profitable consulting practice? Or are you finding it difficult to build your business and expand your presence in your industry to generate the revenue you desire? If so, my signature program, Expand to Excel, was created with you in mind. It's a 12-week, one-on-one curriculum-based coaching program developed to help you create and implement a personal strategy to build and grow a highly successful and profitable business as a solo consultant, no matter the industry. So visit www.excellaconsulting.com to learn more and to schedule your next step call. Okay, so the next way that you can begin to elevate your content is by identifying industry trends and current topics. Now, when you're focusing on industry trends and current topics, what you're doing is offering insight into what is currently popular right now. This will ensure that your conversations are relevant to the concerns or the challenges that people are facing today. So you're not talking about things that are old or not useful. You're really keeping your hand or your finger on the pulse in your industry. And that is going to allow you to focus on the interests of your audience instead of just what you may be interested in yourself. One other thing that I like about this whole idea of identifying industry trends and current topics that you can talk about or you can discuss and create content around is the fact that it also adds a certain layer of interest and complexity to your content and to your content structure, because this is information that you typically would not share or talk about. So when you're following industry trends or current topics, that's going to just change with time. It's going to be driven by other things that are ongoing in your industry and in society as a whole. This may mean that that content may change frequently, but the great part about it is that although it's going to be different, it's going to be new, it's still something that's very relevant to your core audience because it is something that covers many of the new things that are happening currently in your area of practice. So I don't want you to be afraid of just jumping out there and really engaging in new conversations and really thinking about how you can have these discussions about topics that may be a little bit outside of your wheelhouse or your umbrella of expertise. It is going to make you maybe a little bit uncomfortable when you first start. However, the fact that you are sharing your insight and your thoughts on these key industry issues will allow people to see you as being more of that thought leader in your space. And then you have the ability to really educate others on what these changes in your industry, what these current topics, what they actually mean for your industry through your eyes or through your viewpoint. And even if it's not a fully fleshed out plan, it's really your opportunity to create some conversation. And that's what we want to do. We want to create conversation with our content. We want to get people thinking with the content that we're sharing. That's another level of really offering this higher level of content in the social media space. I think also it gives you an opportunity to learn from your audience, because as you join in the conversation, and once again, this conversation should go back and forth, you are going to learn more from your audience. You're going to learn more about what they like. You're going to learn more about their thought process. And then you can take that information and serve them even better, because now you can create better content for them in the future based on the feedback you receive. It's kind of like a win-win situation for everyone. Not only are you creating content that's new and different and that is changing, but also it is something that is going to be very, very relevant, definitely to your audience at the moment. Now, the third thing that I wanted to talk about and share in terms of elevating your content is really infusing your lived experience and your unique perspective. And I want us to focus heavily on this, especially as women in consulting and definitely as women of color and Black women in consulting, because this is a part of the story that only we can tell. These are things that only we can share. It's a perspective that only we can give. And when we are thinking about elevated or higher quality content, this is content that either exposes others to new concepts or new perspectives, or it begins to shift their beliefs in some kind of way. And we can easily do this by just infusing ourselves, our lived experiences, and our unique perspective into the content that we create. Now, for me, this has been speaking about consulting through the lens of a Black female in the consulting industry. And so whenever I'm able to talk about that, when I'm able to talk about those challenges that I have faced personally, then this is all information that can be helpful to others. These are the lessons and the insight that I can share that I have learned over time and can share to help add to the conversation that already exists in the online space. And so when others hear this, this will either be something that's new and revealing to some people, and then it will also be reaffirming to others. It offers a viewpoint that really represents a minority voice in a wider market. And that voice is very powerful. It's something that we can use to our advantage when it comes to developing high quality content and content that's going to resonate and really drive change over time. And this can be true when applied from many, many different angles. So it doesn't have to just be drawn on a racial divide, but it also can be really discussed from an angle of a socioeconomic difference or something that's gender specific or maybe even specialty focused. Whatever it takes for you to make your viewpoint unique and distinctive is something that you want to use when you're developing your content. So it's almost like you are developing your content and your posts to share information through a very specific lens. And by sharing that information through that lens, you're giving someone else an inside view or a different viewpoint as to how they can then interpret that information, how they can then use and apply that to their lives and to their business. So by really infusing our lived experience and our unique perspective, we are making our content just more valuable overall. And I think that is one component that is probably the easiest to do, but we are often afraid to really get to this point of vulnerability where we are open to sharing that. But when we can share this more openly and be a little bit more vulnerable, it will only work to our benefit because it is something that is more engaging. It is something that is going to elevate the quality of our content and allow it to resonate at a higher level with those clients that we truly seek to serve. So overall, the thing that we want to consider is how we can look at content from a different light. And instead of following along with just keeping up with the algorithm, that we can actually use our content strategically to create some level of thought leadership in our industry, to drive business overall, and to just keep a very high level conversation going that allows us to stay engaged with those individuals that we want to be part of our community. And we can do that a number of different ways, but I definitely in this episode shared 3 ways I feel will help you to develop high quality content. And that is to 1, consume content from other high quality accounts and then also from various industries. 2 was to identify industry trends and current topics that you can discuss. And 3, infuse your lived experience and your unique perspective. By doing this, I think you will open the door to just so much more in terms of possibilities and growing your business and really improving your ability to successfully master social selling and open a door for your business overall. So I hope this episode has been helpful. I'd love to hear more back from you. If you enjoyed this episode, please share this on Instagram or LinkedIn or another social media platform, tag me, and definitely let me know what you enjoyed most, because I think that this episode of this series in social selling is one that I hope will be helpful and something that I'm hoping that you can actually implement right away. So until next time, take care. Thank you for tuning in to the Black Girls Consult 2 podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to leave your review on Apple Podcasts, subscribe, and share it with a friend. We're on a mission to increase the success and longevity of women in consulting, and you can help us do that. Also, I'd love to hear from you, so let's connect at Dr. Angelina Davis on Instagram or LinkedIn. And don't forget to visit excelatconsulting.com for more information to support your consulting journey. Until next time, take care.